The squirrel was magic!
Beware your human heart. This is the Diabolical Index for Memorial Day. This is the 7th non-entry episode where the pages of the uncanny reside. I'm Corey Dawson. As always, we're not as always. Almost, it almost seems like always now. We're at the Nut House for this episode of the Diabolical Index. Chosen by you, by furious, unanimous, well, almost unanimous. Almost unanimous. Not quite, but almost unanimous acclaim, Indiana Jones and the Eye of the Fates. I'm going to put it up on book cam, unless you have you got the image up.
That's good.
Still a little discombobulated. He stuck me in a VR chamber earlier, and I got to tell you, I'm definitely susceptible to that stuff, to the alternate lands. I was totally taken up in it, and by the time we got out of that stuff and we were getting our heads together, then the technology was having its gremlins and all that kind of stuff. But we're close to 9 o'clock. We always say 9-ish. And also, due to the overwhelming appeal of Dr. Henry Jones Jr. and this new adventure, I will be skipping my normal births and deaths and getting right into it, because sometimes that kicks us over into the 1 hour plus range, and I'm not exactly sure how far we're going to be going with this one. It's going to take us to far-flung lands across the globe, and we'll be dealing with mythology and most likely creatures and evil daring do and all that kind of stuff. So I think that we will begin at the beginning, and I will read the back plate for you. It's got an interesting little blurb here. Will you and Indiana Jones locate the Eye of the Fates? Question mark. Legends say that whoever possesses the crystal eye has the power to see and even change the future. In the wreck of an ancient ship, Indiana Jones, trademark, finds pieces of Perseus's golden shield, which contains clues to the location of this mysterious eye. Unfortunately, reporters reveal his astonishing discovery, and the race is on. Your father, our father, yours and mine, a museum curator, says that you must accompany Indy on his desperate mission to find the eye and keep it from falling into the wrong hands. Before you know it, you're dashing from Mount Olympus to distant Japan, searching for this amazing artifact. Your lives are constantly in jeopardy as you are pursued by ruthless villains eager to exploit the power of the eye. You must decide which moves to make. You have to choose the directions which will lead to your goal. Every fascinating and dangerous step of the way, it's up to you to find your fate. Find Your Fate is it was the brand name of this particular type of book. I think I've read a couple of them here, and there were, as soon as the Choose Your Own Adventure craze took off, they were taking some brand names and some oh my God, Melanie's on. Hey babe, what's going? Wow, this might be a first. I don't know. Whew. I better up my game. I don't know. No, I don't have to up my game. I'm just gonna do my normal game. My normal game is pretty good, but there were a few brand names that were going along with the Choose Your Own Adventure craze of the mid '80s, a little bit earlier than that, and Find Your Fate was one of them, and the Endless Quest was the Dungeons and Dragons, and there was one called Twist a Plot. So I've got a few of those, and I'm kind of running out of them, so I might make the choices a little bit less deep from now on. I knew that Indiana Jones was going to take off like a shot. So, does the lost Eye of the Fates still exist? What strange powers does it possess? What are the sinister forces that will stop at nothing to keep you from finding it? These and other questions will be answered as you and Indiana Jones risk your lives on a perilous quest. You will have to make many last-minute decisions. Just follow directions at the bottom of each page. Thank you very much, book. Make the right choices, you could both end up being heroes. But let this be a warning. The wrong decision could mean your doom. I love it. Oh, and also a shout out. Can I get the book camera real quick? Well, maybe it's not the first time, but he set me up this handy dandy chat room. Can you see it? You see the stamp? Yeah. Okay, the stamp is the bookshelf. I think it's North Walnut Avenue. Is that Batesville? Yeah, Batesville, Indiana. So the bookshelf, check them out. They actually have their own show weekends in the local radio station down there, and definitely check out the ladies of the bookshelf. They know exactly what they're talking about, and they don't hesitate to educate you or anyone that comes in there on books and what they mean and what they have in store. So yeah, definitely go to the bookshelf, North Walnut Avenue in Batesville. You won't be sorry. And that's where I found this fantastic one. And actually, it looks as if someone or something bit down on the side of this. I honestly can't tell if it was a kitten or a baby. So that's always good. Just mowing down, wanting to devour the books. Okay, I got another illustration here. Pretty big one, actually. All right. So the young person I think it's on the right of Indy, that's supposed to be us. So if you don't identify with this little mannequin of a pipsqueak, he's wearing slacks though, so he or she, it's difficult to tell. It's kind of nondescript. It's kind of unisex, I guess. So we'll just roll with it. Doesn't have a name because all of us together, we are the Diabolical Index. Doesn't need a name any further than that. Okay, so we're going to dive in here. Just find your fate, adventure number 4, Indiana Jones, Eye of the Fates. I've got another illustration here.
Yeah, I was putting up the book.
You put up the book now?
Yeah, there we go. And...
So, yeah, this is kind of an unusual picture of Indy. An unusual little piece of adventure from him, which it kind of sucks because I know an underwater archaeologist, and it comes up a lot in the day-to-day exercises and scientific research of archaeologists everywhere. So we start off the coast of Greece in August 1937. So this is actually before some of the events of World War II. Well, Indiana Jones, your father asks, what have you got? Only the find of the century, says Indiana Jones, grinning wildly as he pulls off his diving helmet. The famous archaeologist has just climbed back on board your father's salvage boat. He has been exploring a sunken wreck over 5,000 years old. Your father, the curator of American Museum, is hoping to prove that the wreck is a ship that belonged to Perseus, the legendary Greek hero. The shield of Perseus, announces Indy, holding up a broken disc, hammered out of pure gold. Greek sailors and news reports crowd around. It's the find of the century, all right, says your father, putting on his glasses. It's also the mystery of the century. You can see some fragments of the message etched in Greek on the back of the shield. And he tells you he thinks these are clues to the location of one of the wonders of the ancient world, the Eye of the Fates. Turn to page 2. Indy explains that according to one legend, the Fates were 3 blind old women who once lived in the Far East. They shared among them one magic crystal eye, fashioned by the Greek gods. You probably remember this from one or more of the Clash of the Titans movies. But looking through it, they're able to see the fates of everyone and everything in the world. So, Indy concludes, it's said that whoever possesses the eye has the power to see the future and to change it. One of the crew, a Greek sailor named Costas, translates the ancient message on the shield. I, Perseus the Greek, Costas reads, stole the eye from the 3 women of Hawk. Here the line breaks off. Costas reads the next line. Returned it to the gods. Jones, says your father, can you follow these clues? Then you can find the Eye of the Fates? If it still exists, says Indy, I'll find it. Just don't let this story get out. The power of the eye may just be a myth, but I wouldn't take any chances. If it would get into the wrong hands, that's when you realize it. Holy smoke, the boat is full of reporters, and you just remember there's a radio in the cabin. The story will get out. Turn to page 3. By the time you run to the cabin, it's too late. The reporters have radioed the story. Now, the whole world will know about the clues on the shield. Indy is very worried. He takes you and your father aside. We'll have to work fast, he says, studying the mysterious message. The way I figure it, the letters H-O-K-K could mean Hokkaido, which is in northern Japan. Maybe the eye is hidden there. Wait a minute, you say. If Perseus returned to the gods, maybe he's buried right here in Greece. Wasn't Mount Olympus supposed to be the home of the gods? Good thinking, kid, says Indy. You're going to be a great help. He turns to your father. Smart kid you got here. Your father has to stay on board to oversee the salvage operation. But you can go along with Indy. The question is, should you take another boat and sail to Mount Olympus, or should you fly to Japan? If you decide that Japan's the best bet, turn to page 9. If you'd rather sail to Mount Olympus, turn to page 19. This is one of those choices in these books where it might be one of those things where the book wants you to go one way, and if you go the opposite direction, that you'll end up on some little twisty turn thing that'll take you a couple pages out of the way, and then you end up back at the option that they wanted you to go on to begin with. So, Japan, if you want to go to Japan to check out this Hokkaido clue, you'll turn to page 9. If you want to go straight to the head of the thing and kind of go with the return of the gods clue from Perseus' shield, you'll sail to Mount Olympus, page 19.
One for Olympus.
So we got one for Olympus. I'm not seeing that. What's up? Oh, here we go. Oh, it's my baby.
We got 19.
She's really getting into it tonight. Awesome. Yeah, so I'll just keep repeating these. Japan is the best bet. Turn to page 9. If you're ready to sail to Mount Olympus, page 19. So the ladies are going for the direct route. But you never know. I don't know. It's difficult to say. The direct route might be the better option in this, but it could also lead you into a trap if every evil villain and scoundrel is on their way to Mount Olympus, you might run into some trouble. But then again, they did read it out loud, and Indiana Jones might not be the only one that could come up with that clue on that one. And he said, let's see, northern Japan. That'd be a weird place for it to show up, but I guess it is kind of in the lower half below the equator somewhere. So it might make sense to those old travelers and sailors of the old days. Just to recap, if you want to go to Japan, you'll be page 9. If you want to go to Mount Olympus, it's page 19. So there were so many people who were interested in the Indiana Jones aspect of this that I probably got more comments on the voting that I've ever gotten for any of these Choose Your Own Adventure, Find Your Fate, Twist a Plot, or Endless Quest books. It's amazing how that brings it out. But if I remember correctly, I'm not so sure that Melanie had seen the movies before we met. But I don't know. I could be wrong about that too. But I think we had one weekend where I just wasn't going to let it stand, and I ended up buying.
You say the things again?
Yeah, I ended up buying the triple feature of the Indiana Jones books, or Indiana Jones movies rather. I left the fourth one out. It's, as far as I'm concerned, it's a coaster. But 9, if you want to go page 9, it's Japan, the Hokkaido clue. If you want to go to Mount Olympus directly, it's page 19. What do you say, Andrew?
I'm gonna go to Olympus.
You're gonna go to Olympus too?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought you were normally the devil's advocate. You normally go for the other stuff.
Mythology, so that's why I want to go.
Oh, that's true. I don't know a whole lot of people who aren't interested in. Everybody I know is into comics and books and crazy movies with creatures and kaiju and crazy video games and all that kind of stuff. I doubt that any of them weren't. And I doubt any of them wouldn't be interested in Greek mythology, Roman mythology, anything. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. Like, a lot of people are more interested in canon than just, like, for instance, myself. Like, I love me some Phantasm 1, some Phantasm 2, and that's where it stops. After Phantasm 2, It just goes by the wayside. A lot of people, I mean, I have seen all of them up to 5, but I doubt I'll ever watch 3 to 5 again. I might watch 3 again because it was the introduction of kind of a cool female character and a kid. So, yeah, I'm not waiting any longer. Everybody's going for Mount Olympus. It's pretty much unanimous at this point. So, cool. Page 19. It is. I'm trying to keep a little bit of a log of which ones we're going to, because every once in a while we get into a pickle and then I forget. Am I going on camera? Straight ahead. I get into a bit of a pickle and I forget where we started out. Because being that these are choose your own adventure, you can go back and get your lives back once again. So, it's a beautiful, clear day on the Aegean Sea. Or Aegean. I think it's Aegean Sea. The great Perseus once sailed these waters thousands of years ago. And now here you are on an adventure with a modern-day hero. Modern day being the past, but we're not going to split hairs there. Look, you cry, pointing off the port bow. It's Mount Olympus. The ancient home of the gods towers majestically over the sunny coast. I think we're almost at port, says Indy, holding his hat against the wind. Hey, Costas, the Greek sailor has agreed to be your guide. That sounds like a bad idea. I don't know about you. I don't like having that Costas guy. That seems like a bad move.
You don't like his name?
No, it's nothing to do with his name. It's nothing to do with him being Greek. It seems like whenever you pick up some stranger and you bring him along, it's always going to be some kind of something. Yeah, so, see every Indiana Jones ever. It seems like whenever you bring somebody on that was a stranger to you, it's always a bad move. The Greek sailor has agreed to be your guide. Now he comes over to Indy. Yes, he says, that is the port dead ahead. Boom! The three of you are thrown to the deck by the force of a great explosion. There's so much smoke, it's hard to assess the damage, but the boat seems to be listing severely. I think listing means it's like moving from side to side. I'm not sure. If an enemy planted 1 bomb, he might have planted 2. That damn Costas. I said it, didn't I? I don't know. I mean, it might not have been Costas. I don't know. But what are you going to do? If an enemy planted 1 bomb, he might have planted 2. At any moment, the whole boat could blow up. Should you try to take it into port for repairs, or should you abandon ship? There's not much time to decide. If you decide to abandon ship, turn to page 58. If you try to save the boat, page 35. So basically, you've got a saboteur on your boat. Or had been on your boat. One or the other. Either Costas knew someone and wanted to... But why would you want to scuttle the boat you're on? I don't know. It's weird. It sounds like... Okay, I might take back my earlier statement. It might not be Costas, because that would basically mean he was sacrificing his own life to stop this. And he was one of the damn translators of the shield to begin with. So, I guess it could go either way. It's hard to tell. That damn slippery Costas. Freaking sailor gets on here and all of a sudden the boat blows. Who's to say? Okay, we got 1 for abandoned ship. And, I mean, that seems like that would be a way to go. If you tried to go into port, I mean, you could... Ooh! Wow, we got abandoned ship and we have tried to save the boat. So, it's kind of tied here. We got an abandoned ship. You would think just by looking at this list that the ladies have the more logical mind about this. Just get off this sinking ship and don't try to get into port, or else you'll die. And if you go in there, it could cause damage to the port. It could kill people on the dock. I mean, all kinds of bad things can happen. There could be further explosions on the way in, and you might be reduced to atoms. So if you decide to abandon ship, turn to page 58. If anyone's just coming on, there's been an explosion on Indiana Jones, R's, and Costas' ship on the way to find the mystical Eye of the Fates at Mount Olympus. So, if you want to abandon ship, turn to page 58. If you try to save the boat, turn to page 35. And I'm keeping tabs on because I mean this could be craziness. I don't know. I mean Indiana. Where am I at? Up here or over there? Okay. He makes these strange hand gestures, and he says, "Back! You gotta move back!" And it doesn't make any sense. And you gotta move down, down, down. So I never understand what he's talking about. It's all right though. It's just fine. He totally put me into a virtual reality earlier that I'll never forget. I doubt if I was ever brainwashed or if I was influenced in some kind of way through psychic abilities, I'm not so sure I would know my way out of it. I think that my dreams are pretty hardy, which explains why I'm insomniac most of the time, because every once in a great while I'm not in a big hurry to venture into the worlds when I end up in. So, again, if you want to abandon ship, which makes a lot of sense, or if you want to try to save the boat, which one is it? 58 for abandoning ship, and 35 if you want to save the boat. So far, it looks like abandoning the boat is what you got.
I'm going with 58, but doesn't matter. Abandoning's winning right now.
Oh, so Andrew's being the he's being the devil's advocate. He's being the voice of the contrary here. Let's see. Ban ship. Let's go. We're gonna try to save the boat. Or no, we're gonna. Sorry, I got them mixed up. We're gonna try to abandon ship. Abandon ship 58. Let's see. You and Indy try to persuade him, but Costas won't abandon the boat. He stays on board as you both swim for shore. As you pull yourself up on the dock, a second explosion rips through the air. What?
Save the ship just one, but it's alright.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't see it.
It'll pop up. It's fine, though.
Save this. Oh, Mike! Damn it.
There's one more after that, too.
Oh, is there for saving the ship? Damn it. What do I do now?
Well, you already picked
No, I gotta... No. No, it has to prevail. Wait a minute. Did she just change her vote?
Who?
Alina.
Yeah, she did. So nope,
Well, I'll be a son of a... Huh?
It'll be tied still then, since she changed her vote, so...
It's tied still?
If she changed her vote, wouldn't it be?
Let's see. Bannon. No, you said that Save the Ship was winning.
Yeah, because I didn't know she changed her...
She changed her vote from abandon to Save the Ship, right?
Yeah. 58.
Figure out the numbers, buddy.
Weak sauce. We already know it blows up.
Okay, well, I guess it's... Damn it.
Sorry. As soon as you said that, I was like... "Ba-doop, ba-doop, ba-doop." That's a little bit behind, but...
Son of a...
But we have... Alright, so...
Okay, Mike's saying weak sauce now.
Abandon ship, 58. Abandon. Save the ship.
So what are the numbers?
This is many.
Oh.
Abandon ship 1.
Abandon ship
Well,
1.
no.
Okay, all right. I think he's lying to me, but that's all right.
Oh,
Oh, I see. Yeah, hey, Alina. Yeah, put if you can next time, put Henry's name on there so we can get him into the. Oh, Mike's burning me now. No, hey, no. I would say that I'm taking I was trying to take the honorable route as soon as I figured out, but hey.
We'll go with
all right.
This time.
All right. Yeah, so Alina, put Henry's name, if you're going to vote twice, put Henry's name on there. So he's involved. So that'll be cool. So yeah, I guess that the abandon the ship ended up winning after all. I don't know, weirdness. Whatever. It's over. Hey, maybe what in the name of God? Okay, so I'm going to depend on Andrew next time when the voting's over to put some kind of message on there. If you wouldn't mind. See how I'm a just leader.
I'll make it right now.
As you pull yourself, let's see. Okay. You and Indy try to persuade him, but Costas won't abandon the boat. He stays on board as you both swim for shore. As you pull yourself up on dock, a second explosion rips through the air. You look back. The boat has been completely destroyed. There's nothing left but flame and smoke on the water. Poor Costas. This actually gives me more of a suspicion that he was in the wrong on this one. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too suspicious of Costas. Now Indy is more determined than ever to beat your enemies to the eye of the fates. Come on, he says angrily. We're going to see someone who might be able to help us. About a half-mile inland, you enter the grounds of a rich estate. It belongs to the world-famous historian, Dr. Croton Orlock. Croton Orlok. Could this guy have some evil underpinnings? I'm not sure. Let's see. He's a middle-aged Eastern European with raven black hair. So, it says thick Balkan accent. I'm not even going to try it. I'm not even going to try it. I'm not going to insult somebody. So, you're Indiana Jones, he says in his thick Balkan accent. I've heard of your quest for the eye. Do you seek my advice? I'm flattered. And he does not mention the attempts on your lives. I mean, I would like to think that this guy probably would have heard or felt an explosion, but hey. He doesn't mention it, and you wonder why. Doesn't he trust this Orlok? Turn to page 103. I mean, cool name, but I'm not so sure I'd want him, like, hanging out with my sister. You ask Dr. Orlok if he knows the legend of the eye. He smiles indulgently. Naturally, my young friend, I have often wondered if it exists. He turns to Indy. But I do not think that Mount Olympus is where you should look. Have you ever heard of Meteora? Sure, says Indy. The monasteries of Meteora. What about them? I believe, says the historian, that many ancient treasures are locked away in those secret buildings. Remember, the monks who sought refuge there thousands of years ago were also familiar with the old pagan myths. There's something too smooth about Dr. Orlok. He may be right about the monasteries, but you get the feeling he's trying to keep you from finding something out. What do you think? Andy asks you as Orlok walks over to pour drinks. I wonder what the drinks are. I wonder what he could possibly have in his on his drink tray that you and us could be drinking. We could try Meteora, you say, adding in a whisper. But I don't trust this guy. Indy seems faintly surprised, but says nothing. Faintly surprised? Maybe at your intuitiveness as a young... Or our intuitiveness. He could babysit. Maybe. I don't know. I would like to think that... I mean, I look kind of strange myself. I like to think that people wouldn't mind me babysitting for him. Can I have book cam real quick? I have a picture of Dr. Orlok here, and he doesn't seem quite as fearsome in this drawing as I'm making him out to be, I guess. Let's see. I think it would have been nice to have had this picture along with the initial description of this guy. I may not have suspected him so quickly. Dr. Orlok comes back with the drinks and sits down. He explains there is a legend that the Eye of the Fates once found its way to Constantinople, where it was fixed by priests to a holy icon. The icon was supposedly stolen and spirited away to Greece in the 15th century. But if it is at Meteora, it will be hard to find. The monks thought of clever ways to guard the treasures. Absinthe would be awesome. That would be... Get some wormwood in that kid. They need it. All right, Henry. However, concludes Orlok smoothly, most of the old buildings are now deserted. I wish I were young enough to go with you, he says. The more you watch Orlok's shifty eyes, the less you trust him. But Indy still doesn't seem to notice. You set out for Meteora after lunch. As soon as Orlok's servants close the gate behind you, Indy says, So, what's bothering you, kid? He's either sending us on a wild goose chase, you say, or right into a trap. We should find out what he's up to. There was something peculiar about him, says Indy, but I think he knows what he's talking about. So, Indy, yeah, no, I don't look strange at all. So Indy doesn't necessarily trust him, but he does think that his knowledge and information might be useful in the long run. Oh man, yeah, they're pretty awesome. I should get my my own mutton chops back. I've been hesitating, but since it's warmer outside, I need to rock them again. But back to the adventure at hand. If you decide to go on to Meteora, turn to page 63. If you convince Indy to stay and spy on Orlok, turn to page 109. So let's see here. I was let's see. I'm trying to figure out where we went to 58 before, didn't we?
I think so.
58. Yeah, so it's 58. And now it's 63 and 109. So, if you want to go to Meteora, where I guess that these monks in Constantinople had the eye at one time, apparently because of legend, We go to 63. On 109, we're going to stay and spy on Orlok. I mean, it could be kind of cool hanging out in Orlok's place. It sounds like if he's got servants and stuff, it might be kind of neat, but time is of the essence if you want to find the Eye of the Fates before other people. I mean, does our character have other things in mind for it as well? I mean, I guess we could be an unreliable narrator. We could have designs of our own. Our father just has this little salvage ship and just kind of, you know, hobnobs with Indy from time to time. It isn't a full-on sidekick like Sala or anything like that, or Marcus Brody. There could be other things in his mind as well. Maybe we shouldn't go casting aspersions on Orlok, especially if he knows what he's talking about. If you decide to go to Meteora, where the monastery is, it'd be 63. If you want to convince any to stay and spy on Orlov, it's 109. Okay, we got one for 63 on to Meteora. I almost think it's almost always better to travel, I guess. I don't know.
Video, skip it.
You seen anything on that?
Yeah, it could have been because I was saving something.
Maybe. I mean... Ooh! Interesting, interesting. So we got three for going and one for staying. Henry is making his position known, solid as a rock, and that's okay. I mean, so far it's been kind of surprising. I definitely wasn't expecting Costas to stay with the boat. I just, in the back of my head, I just can't believe that's the last that we'll see of Costas. I just can't believe it. Okay, so it's 3-2 at the moment. Looks like 4-2. Everything look all right? Okay. If anyone sees any problems with the video, let us know again. It may have just been something we were doing, man.
I was making...
He was making something. He was spicing it up. I wish I had some plugs this week. It seems like everything that I could be plugging is either have stopped production or has stopped production because it's finished, or stopped production because they had to stop production for something, so it's not going ahead. I guess there are some kids that require a little bit of exposure for their charities. I'll see if I can't get more information on that and put it up later on if I can. There's one guy in our town named Hunter that needs some help, I think, for some technology to help him out with his ailment. And then there's a little kid that had a brain tumor that ended up, he's fighting it now, kind of like the aftermath of it right now in the hospital. His name's Cassius. So I'll see if I can get some awareness out for those guys. But as it turns out, for creative plugs, I haven't got a whole lot at the moment. I'll repeat these again and then we'll shut it down. If we decide to go to Meteora, well, I guess it wasn't as solid as I thought, but that's okay. It's good to have a fluid mind and a fluid opinion. It looks to me like that we're going to Meteora. So put that out there and lock this down before someone gives me some shit. Okay, so we're going to 63. It is nearly sunset. Which one am I on now?
You're still on that one.
Okay.
I'm changing over in just a second.
Okay. It is nearly... Well, there's a little bit of confusion this time because he's got a lot of gear here this time. It's like more than we've ever had, so it's difficult to figure out where I'm supposed to be going right now. But I'll pick it up. It'll be all right. And really, my head is massive. So if I just like slightly turn it one way or the other, I'm going to be in the view of something. It is nearly sunset when you come upon the strange landscape of Meteora. Oh, there you go. Awesome. Hunter got his wheelchair. That's great to hear. That's great. I was hoping that I saw a couple of his signs that were up and they were kind of set aside, so I didn't know if they had fallen or if he got them when he needed. That's awesome. Sorry. Looming up from misty crevasses are massive black granite pinnacles. They form natural peaks and towers shooting hundreds of feet straight up into the air. Perched atop some of them, you can see the corniced rooftops of monastic buildings. They look like they were carved right out of the rock. As you and Indy stand at the base of the tallest one, he says, "This would be a safe place to hide a treasure. No one could ever find a way up there." "So what do we do?" you ask. "Find a way up, naturally," he says with a grin. Good God, that could have been Melanie saying that. Just then, out of the mist, comes a robed monk. Indy asks him if he knows how to get to the monastery. And he says, "Practice, buddy!" What a dick. Yes, I'm a dick. He doesn't answer. Is he observing a vow of silence? Then you realize he's deaf and mute, using various hand signals. Oh boy. I would love to have seen that on tape. You and Indy try to communicate with him. He seems to be trying to tell you that the monastery is uninhabited for a long time. Then he leads you to an old and broken rope ladder. It only goes about halfway up the cliff. The rest of it must have rotted away. The monk drifts off into the mist. "Funny," says Indy, "that he came down for a stroll all by himself." Turn to page 87. Oh boy. "Hey," you cry, looking up. "I thought I just saw someone up there." And he looks up, but now all you can see is the corner of the monastery hanging over the edge like a birdcage. Was it your imagination? "If there is someone up there," says Indy, "we could climb as far as this old ladder goes, then call out to him." On the other hand, you point out, this ladder doesn't look very safe. Besides, maybe that monk was lying to us. It may be... This is a suspicious kid. This is a suspicious kid. This ladder doesn't look very safe. Besides, that monk was lying to us. It may be a trap. Why not find the way back up just to be safe? If you decide to go up the ladder, turn to page 67. If you decide to find a back way, turn to page 112. So the question is, are you people of adventure? Do you turn tail and run at the first sign of peril? Do you trust your eyes? Do you trust your heart and your courage and the muscles of your arms and legs? Do you trust Indiana Jones? It looks like you don't trust anybody, as far as I can tell. And it looks like this kid doesn't trust a single soul. Although it seems like he was kind of cool with Costas. So I don't know what's going on there. But the question is, I mean, when it comes down to brass tacks, I'm a little bit surprised that Indy isn't using the old whip. There's been no mention of the whip. He's used that a few times to get himself out of scrapes when it required a little bit of rope action. Okay, we got 112 for decided to try the back way. I don't know. So we got one for the We got one for the back way. We're breaking all the rules. I'm like, "Hey, invisible person, how you doing?" She's probably just happy that we started as near to 9 o'clock as we have since I've had to start coming to the nut house. We'll see. Okay, so far it's 2 for back way. What do you say, Mary?
Yeah.
She's like, "Why are you including me?" Okay, she trusts Indy. Wait a minute, that's not an answer, huh?
I don't think she knows the...
So Jennifer, it looks like you just... I ain't dying on that damn ladder. Damn straight. But hey, Jennifer, basically we're at a monastery in the middle of Nowheresville called Meteora with these gigantic black spires, and there are monks' caves up there. And the question is whether or not we use this rotten ancient ladder to try to climb up there and get their attention, or try to find a back way to the catacombs or whatever. And so far, nobody wants to be dying on that rope. Yeah, but then again, I mean, sometimes it happens in these things where they make someone obviously suspicious. I mean, absolutely obviously suspicious. And
I'm going with the ladder. They
ended up, that's the spirit. Andrew, the contrarian, as always, going for the ladder. So far, the back way is winning out, but I'm going to say it once again. If you decide to go up the ladder, turn to page 67. And if you decide to try a back way, turn to page 112.
What do you think, Mary?
Catacombs are fun.
Well, I mean, you're getting there regardless. It's just a question of going up this rotten ladder or trying to find a back way into them.
Back way?
Sure.
Well, I mean, that's... Catacomb. Oh! I'm not even going to say anything. Before anyone says anything, I'm not going to say anything. But, C-A-T-A. But that's okay. Climb the ladder. All right, Mike. Rock on, man. But you're still not winning. Everybody so far wants to. What's Jennifer say? Come on, Jennifer. We gotta get him in here because she's actually probably late to the game because she thought I was doing my normal. I totally cut the normal births and deaths out of this because I knew it was gonna be adventure all the way, even though it's kind of a small one. But by God, I'm so thankful. All down with it. Oh man, will you do that math for me? Some of the things have already passed me by.
What is it? I
Some.
haven't counted at all.
Oh, sorry. So, well, Indy cannot die. That's true. That's true. He can age though. He can age. But so do we all. It's looking to me that regardless, I think that the back way is still winning.
Looks like back way's winning.
Yeah. So we're going to the back way. Put something up and lock that down before I get in trouble again.
I got votes on there, and then it says votes are in.
Rock.
Then we gotta wait for it to pop up, and then we'll be straight.
Okay, 60. You'll be straight, huh? Hey, man. Whatever. Okay, so we're going 112. Up with a shady ladder. Maybe. It would be, maybe for a minute. It'd be up for a minute. Let's see. If you're both going up there, I guess that if Indiana Jones and the kid that we're all embodying were going up the ladder, I guess that they would just about equal my weight, and I wouldn't get on there, so whatever.
Shady ladder strip.
No, it still doesn't matter. It's over.
Yeah.
112. We are going to 112. Oh, for the love of crap! I just saw an illustration. I hope we get to do that. I'm gonna try to forget about it. On the opposite side of the granite tower, you see some barely visible notches in the rock. Ha! All right. Good, good work, says Indy. These footholds should do the trick, but it's a long way to the top. You decide not to look down, so you look up into his butt and his purse. I guess it's a satchel. It's a messenger bag. It's got some cool stuff in there. Shankara stones and whips and whatnot. Yeah, I guess when I explain it like that, it doesn't sound much better. The closer you get, the more deserted the monastery looks. Well, I'd say so. Damn. You concentrate on climbing. Pull yourself up gradually. Hand over foot. Even Indy is being careful. What's that supposed to mean, you little prick? You wouldn't survive a fall from this height. Suddenly, a jagged piece of rock above you... Whoa. Suddenly, a jagged piece of rock above you comes to life. You almost lose your grip. The piece of black granite flies off into the darkening sky. Hold on, snaps Indy. That's what you saw before. It was just a big hawk. They roost up here. Finally, you reach the top. Man, that was kind of scary. I thought it was going to be like a gargoyle or something. The crumbling old stone monastery is empty. As the sun sets, a single beam of orange light pierces the gloom. Inside these walls, the silence is complete. You and Indy walk slowly across the cracked stone floor and enter the big main hall. It's getting darker every second. The single beam of light breaks through into another room. You follow it. Turn to page 102. Haven't we been to 102? No, we haven't. I'm just kidding, man. I don't... Teach their own. Teach their own. You and Indy continue toward the far room. At least we'll be able to see something in there, you say to Indy. Oh, wait, that's wrong. At least we'll be able to see something in there, you say to Indy. Not for long, says Indy. This is the last of the daylight. You look into the inner room. Hanging in the middle, completely unguarded, is a large and precious-looking icon. It is the portrait of a holy figure with a halo, praying to heaven. The icon's golden frame is inset with shimmering gems. At its top is a pure silver oval, and at its center is a huge green emerald. It looks exactly like an eyeball. Turn to page 111. Oh, man. Let's see. It's the Eye of the Fates. You were wrong about Dr. Croton Orlok. He spoke the truth about the legendary icon from Constantinople. You and Indy are speechless for a moment. Then Indy asks, when is an icon not an icon? I give up, you say. When it... No. No. No.
When it's an eye? Is that what
He says... The character that is written to be Indiana Jones in this stinking book, I'm not saying this Indiana Jones. I'm saying that this facsimile of the shadow of a man that they think is Indiana Jones says this line.
It's not Harrison Ford.
When it's an icon, says Indy, starting into the room. Throw his ass out of that cave, plummeting to his death and impaled on an obsidian spike. No, sir. He did not say that. I pun some shit. I pun all the time. And no, sir.
It's on the title even, see?
Huh?
It's on the cover.
But still. But it's a... Okay, so Indy is starting into the room. But before either of you get to the opposite wall, you realize that you weren't wrong about Orlok after all. He sent you into a trap, but not a human one. You and Indy hear it at the same time. A series of noises, just as the orange sunlight disappears. From behind you in the great hall comes a scurrying, and a flapping, and a slithering. Poisonous spiders, a vast legion of huge bats, and a sea of snakes. These are the nightly guardians of the eye. You hate spiders. Indy hates snakes. Both of you hate bats. It looks like you're doomed. But Indiana Jones always finds a way out. Doesn't he? Bum, bum, bum. The end. We did. Or maybe. I don't know. I guess you could kick him out the hole. Oh, crap. Okay. So we went to 112. I guess we got to go back. All right, so we're going back to...
Going up the ladder?
60... What the hell is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're going to go back to the original, or the latest choice that we had, which was between the ladder and the back way. So I guess we'll go with the ladder first, and then if it still goes wrong, then we'll go back a little further. Okay, so we're back at the face of the rock. The rope ladder lies flat against the sheer surface of the granite. The ancient oak slats are actually bolted in with iron spikes. That looks safe enough, says Indy, looking up. As far as it goes, anyway. At first, you climb carefully. The ladder is so well made that soon you're almost scampering up the side of this tall, skinny mountain. The earth falls away below you as you reach the topmost rung of the ladder. Why does it always have to be snakes? There is still a long way to go before you can reach the monastery, which juts out over your heads above. Here goes, says Indy, cupping one hand around his mouth. Hello up there, he shouts. Anybody home? Scrape, clatter. You catch a glimpse of a dark robe flapping in the wind. Something is falling down the cliff at you. Turn to page 108. Now, if a monk threw his robe down at you, is the man naked? A newer, stronger rope ladder unwinds just above your heads. Someone is inviting you up. Now that's hospitality, Indy says. Follow me. Damn straight back to the ladder. At the top, you are helped to your feet by a man dressed in a long black rasa, the monk's robe of the Greek Orthodox faith. It flaps in the wind. Willkommen, says the man in a deep voice. He is German. Well, thanks, buddy. Now, okay, just to let you know, I am reading this phonetically as it is written, so I don't get blamed for this stuff. We are a German order, he explains. We seldom visit the world below. So that's why the monastery is believed uninhabited. Thanks for letting us up, says Indy. Can you take us to your head monk? He would know what they were called. Just saying. The new abbot is expecting you, the man replies, leading the way. Expecting us. The monastery is a self-contained village. There are vegetable gardens, stables for pigs and goats, a blacksmith shed, and even a cemetery. The monk explains that the new abbot just arrived that day. He waits for you in the abbey. How could he have known we were coming, you ask? Yeah. Damn straight. You ask Indy in a whisper, and he only shrugs. You enter the abbey. Indy is pretty much unflappable. I mean, everybody knows him as kind of unflappable in these situations. He definitely knows something we don't, or he suspects something we don't. Maybe he is a imposter. Would Dr. Henry Jones Jr., Indiana Jones, famous archaeologist, make that stupid... Maybe he died specifically because of what he said. The abbot rises from his desk to greet you. He is a shrewd-looking man with piercing brown eyes. He's over 6 feet tall and broad-shouldered beneath his flowing rasa. Indy introduces himself. "We welcome scholars, Dr. Jones," the abbot says in precise English. "I trust we can be of some help. What would you like to see?" Indy doesn't mention the Eye of the Fates. Instead, he asks to tour the grounds. Later, while a novice guides you around the monastery, Indy asks you in a whisper, "Did you notice? That new abbot's built like a boxer, and he carries himself like a general. I thought he was going to salute us." Indy stops the novice at the cemetery. You notice a freshly dug grave covered with flowers. And the novice explains that the former abbot died only a week ago. Indy seems suspicious, and so do I. That's a little convenient for me. That night, as you and Indy sit alone in your cell, he lays out a plan. Cell meaning, cell is where monks sleep. It's not like a prison cell. Not that I'm mansplaining to anyone. I'm just, before you get antsy, there's no bars on the ship. That night, as you and Indy sit alone in your cell, he lays out a plan. "We'll visit the abbot's office in secret tonight," he says. Turn to page 84. Book cam. Got an illustration here of... I have to say, I am loving the mental picture of the monastery. It sounds really super cool. It is very late. All the monks are asleep. You and Indy sneak past the darkened abbey and return to the cemetery. Tombstones loom out of the wet fog that blankets the ground. Remember how the novice told us the funeral took place a week ago?" asked Indy in a whisper. "Sure," you answer, "and he showed us the grave." "Did you notice this?" asked Indy, leading you to the other side of the cemetery. "This ground was disturbed today," pointing to a mound of wet earth. "Somebody has been digging for buried treasure. Any ideas?" It begins to dawn on you. The new abbot that arrived today. "Somebody that just came from Germany," adds Indy, "and acts like a soldier instead of a priest." "And who knew you were coming?" "Which means he has a radio," concludes Indy, "or else he was around when our boat blew up. Let's pay a visit to the abbey." I don't know about being around when the boat blew up. That's a little bit, that's stretching it slightly. Unless it's Costas. No, it can't be Costas. That would be great. That would be great. That would totally... I would be right about that one all along. Does that mean that Mike just left? I hope he didn't leave. But anyway, if he did... Oh, cool. Because I'm glad he showed up anyway. The abbey is locked. You try to look in through a darkened window. Seeing that it's made of stained glass, Indy takes out his pocket knife and carves away the lead between the colored panes and removes them carefully. When the opening is big enough, you both crawl into the office. "Breaking and entering, you say, is illegal." "So is blowing up boats and killing people," says Indy, lighting an oil lamp. "Yeah! In your face!" In our face, I guess. He begins searching the drawers of the desk and examining the books on the shelves. First thing I do whenever I enter a room, I know about y'all. First thing I do, inspect the books. Absolutely. Not really knowing what to look for, you thumb through an old Bible on an antique stand in the corner. 2 Bibles. One old, one new. "What was that?" says Indy, stopping dead. "Do not touch those damn books, you idiot!" "One old, one new," you repeat. "There's a bigger, newer Bible on the desk." "So there is," says Indy. "Hey, thanks. I didn't practice it at all. I was just kind of working on it. I don't know, when I came up here. Okay, I was wrong about this. I thought that if there were 2 Bibles on a shelf, if you were going to touch one of them, it might be like a secret door and like kick you out into the night or something. I don't know. Or down into a dungeon. Oh, one old, one new, you repeat. There's a bigger, newer Bible on the desk. So there is, says Indy. And it's got a nice new lock on it, too. Now, what kind of self-respecting monk locks his Bible at night? Putting his knife to work again, Indy soon pries open the lock. Oh, man. You can't believe what you see inside. Page 118. Will we believe what we see inside? It's a phony Bible. The hollowed-out pages are blank. Set down into the cavity is the Eye of the Fates. It is exactly as described in legend. You know it sees the fates of everything and everyone in the world. But you don't stop to read it like a crystal ball. There's something else in the Bible, and this is what worries Indy. A communique from the German High Command, he says, picking it up. So Hitler's in on this. These poor German monks, you think. They don't know what monstrous use their holy order is being put to. The new abbot is going to deliver the most powerful secret the weapon has ever known to a madman. By tracing the actions of whole nations, the Nazis will be able to outguess and outflank them. This holy monastery may be the center of world conquest. The first thing we have to do, says Indy, removing the eye and closing the Fate Bible, is to get this eye out of here. I think not, comes a voice from the open door. Oh, shit. All right, big old illustration here.
Find my mouse.
You better find your mouse.
There we go.
I am totally being a slave driver tonight.
You're good.
But hey, he put me in a VR chamber and then didn't tell me when there was a wall right in front of me. So, I gotta fix this thing. I'm totally on the edge of my seat and everything's falling apart. Okay. This is better than that one about the scene of the crime, wouldn't everybody say? I don't know if everybody was even here for that.
The drive-by? You don't like the drive-by shooting?
The drive-by shooting in that one was the only thing that makes sense. Or that, not that made sense, but that was the best part of that whole thing. Were you here for that, Mary? My God. How long did you stick around for that? Whew. I was dying. It was difficult to even finish that one. Although, I mean, okay, I'm gonna stop talking about that. We're gonna try not to mention that ever again. The abbot stands there calmly, holding a very unholy-looking gun. It is pointing at Indy. You work late, Dr. Jones, he says with a smile. But then so do I, fortunately. Did you really think I would be so stupid as to let you get away with such a pretty gem as the Eye of the Fates? What will Indy do now? What will you do now, punk? Can't let him do everything. He's been second-guessing, or we've been second-guessing, everything Indiana Jones has done since this whole thing started. Let's see. If he goes for his pistol, the Nazi in monk's clothing will shoot him down. Yeah, says Indy. How could I think you're stupid? I don't want this thing anyway. Too much responsibility. You're the ones who want to rule the world, not me. Come and get it. The fake abbot laughs. An old trick, Jones, he snickers. If you will be so good as to simply toss it to me. And gently, please. No problem, says Indy, about to toss the eye. Has Indy become a coward? Is he afraid of this Nazi? Shouldn't you do something? If you decide to lunge for the Nazi's gun, turn to page 122. The dumpster! Yeah, I know. Although, I don't know, I think she kind of made it out like I was a psychic on that one. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. No, I'm not a psychic. If you decide to lunge for the Nazi's gun, turn to page 122. If you decide to wait and see if Indy has a plan, turn to page 17. So what are we going to do? I have a feeling that every person is going to want to lunge for the gun. What do you think? I think we're so adventurous that we're going to want to go for the gun. As if Indy doesn't have a plan. As if Indy's just going to toss this wondrous thing that you've pretty much spanned the globe to find, climbed almost to your deaths. You've almost been blown up in a boat. He went to, like, not the bottom of the sea, but he went down in a... it wasn't even called scuba then. It was a diving suit to get this thing. I mean, I have a feeling he's not just going to hand it over. So we got 1 for 17. Decide and wait to see if Indy has a plan. That's the one thing I'm not a gigantic fan of on the chats of the Magic Squirrel Network. Sometimes it's difficult to figure out who anyone is because we're all part of it, so it comes up as us. But
I think it's Paul.
I think it's maybe. You think so?
Yeah.
You think Paul wants to wait and see if Indy has a plan? Maybe. I don't know.
It's either Paul or Josh.
He can be a patient lad. Wow. No one wants to rush the gun.
Oh, I'm rushing for the gun.
Of this sneaking Nazi. Okay, that's better. Andrew's rushing for the gun.
Very shy, so she's gonna be texting.
No. I mean, I don't... Don't get me wrong. I do not think that jumping for the gun is the best idea of the two. But I know that we have some daredevils in our midst in this group. Sometimes they really want to go for the gusto, and they'll jump straight for it.
Adam.
Who?
Adam, put your name after it. Tell them to put your name after it.
Wait for Indy. All right. It looks like it's Indy all around. I'll give it a couple more minutes. But I guess no one wants to get shot in the face. It makes sense, right? It makes sense.
That's what it looks like now.
So.
It says vote in the bottom left-hand corner.
Oh, sweet.
And then it'll say votes are in. And it's
Cool beaners. So my my German accent was supposed to be exaggerated. It's this evil Nazi. I'm not trying to do this perfect German accent. Okay, Indy has a plan. We're going for Indy's plan. We're going to page 17.
pops up on here. Continue. Remember, we got that delay.
Fuck the delay. I'm just kidding. Now some librarian in like Hyannisport is like, hey, wait a minute. I thought this had some class. This is a family show. What's this guy talking about? Let me see. Okay, all right. I was trying to see if this illustration was for this, and it... Wow. This is very, very cool. I am digging the hell out of this book. I was afraid that it might be too kitty, but so far it's been really, really exciting. I'm really digging the environments and stuff. I dig the look of this monastery. Well, Jennifer, it would have to be, I mean, according to what it was saying, it would have had to have been the kid getting the whip away from Indy and then slapping the guy with the whip. Okay. So, if everybody saw the illustration. Almost too late. You understand what Indy has done. What? He has tossed the eye to you. Wait a minute. Did I miss something here? I thought he flat out said that he just threw it to that guy. I don't know. I lost it already. He's tossed the eye to you. You catch it automatically. At the same time, Indy kicks the oil lamp and smashes it. The three of you are plunged into darkness. Do you think smashing an oil lamp would put it out? I don't know. I think the wick would still be going for a second on that one. I'm not so sure of that. I mean, yeah, we'll test that. Oh, dude, maybe that should be... Yeah, we should have supplemental things where we test every single thing that we try in these books. Maybe. Run, shouts Indy. Run for the rope ladder. You hear the Nazi's gun firing in the dark. Well, hopefully you see it firing in the dark, too. But you follow Indy's orders and run right around the blasting gun and out the open door. You're almost at the edge of the cliff, and Indy's right behind you. He's gaining on us, says Indy. Hurry! You uncoil the rope ladder and send it over the edge. You and Indy climb down much faster than you climbed up. You are clutching the eye of the fates in your hand. A gun blast from above sends a bullet whizzing past your head. Then you hear another sound. Click, click. Nazi is out of ammunition. Maybe you'll make it after all, but you happen to glance into the eye. Ooh! Awesome! Awesome! That's what I'm thinking, Alina. I would think, because the oil would be like blasted everywhere and it would probably be ignited. So, yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, and there are robes everywhere. Chances are the Nazi, I don't know. But anyway, no, coolest part, you're looking into the eye accidentally. Andy, look, you cry. You can see what the Nazi is doing high above you. He's cutting the rope ladder. Although, wouldn't you be seeing yourself falling? Or wouldn't you have been seeing the guy, like, walking into the place? That's weird that you're kind of seeing the present, but from, like, a different point of view. He's cutting the rope ladder, 119. You're not even halfway down. You'll never make it to the second ladder in time. You can only stare horrified at the vision in the eye. You see the Nazi cut the ropes. You see Germany start a war. You see Germany lose a war. But you see no sign of a future for you and for Indiana Jones. Oh, man! Awesome! That was awesome. Oh, dude. That was awesome. What time did we start? 9:15?
We are going on an hour and 7 minutes. That's like the intro and everything. That took like an hour.
We didn't have much of an intro. I didn't even do the...
Oversharing. It counts like...
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Wow, that was cool. I wasn't so sure that that we would see through the eye. I wasn't so sure that the eye would work. I thought it would be kind of like some sort of... I don't know, not necessarily a fake out. But, okay, so... Let's see. So, the original... We'll see about at least doing the... We'll be lunging for the gun. We'll try lunging for the gun.
You'll probably get shot in the head.
So, we're lunging. Before Indy can throw him the eye, you rush the big German and grab his wrist. Maybe this will give Indy time to pull his own gun. But it doesn't work out that way. The Nazi is too big and powerful. His wrist doesn't even budge. And before you know it, the other arm has got you around the waist in a painful grip. And the gun is pointed at your head. If you want to save your foolish little friend, he says, I suggest you put the eye back and get into that closet. Oh, man. Indy has no choice. Bullshit! Indy has no choice to get in the closet when a gun is trained on you. Whatever, dude. The boat blew up. You went down with the ship. Who cares? What's he going to do? He's going to seriously not to take this Nazi out just for some little pipsqueak that's been questioning his every move? He did. Oh, God. Indy has no choice, neither is you. You spend the rest of the night locked in the closet. What? No. They're not just going to lock you in the... By the time some monks find you the next day, the new abbot is well on his way back to Germany. Unless there's a miracle, the Eye of the Fates has become Hitler's secret weapon. That sucks. Yeah, that was the end of that one. So what was one of our major... Okay.
Back to the other one.
Japan? Yeah, Japan. That's what we'll have to do. If you guys want to, maybe you ought to... I think they want to rock with it, right? Does everybody want to keep going for a while? It's kind of late, but if you want to try one more little volley...
I think they're good.
Let's go...
Boo.
Who's saying boo? Let's go Japan. Page 9.
Well, opens up a whole other book of worms.
Yeah, I don't know what a book of worms are, but apparently it opens up a book of worms, according to Andrew. You and Indy are the only passengers aboard the chartered flight to Japan. To pass the time, you daydream about the adventures that lie ahead. Suddenly, Indy jumps up and rushes to the window. There's something funny going on, he says suspiciously. We should be flying due east. So what? You say, still half dreaming. Indy frowns. So which way is the sun, kid? He asks. Out the right-hand window, you answer. The right-hand window? You realize what Indy's saying. Hey, you shout. That means we're flying south. Right, snaps Indy, running to the front of the plane. Hey, you, pilot. Turns this crate around. Your Japanese pilot slides back a partition. He's training a pistol on you. Get down, kid, shouts Indy, pulling out his own gun. Suddenly, the air is filled with gunshots. The pilot closes the partition. You're being skyjacked. Should you try to overcome the pilot and fly the plane yourselves? Remembering that Indiana Jones cannot land a plane. Or should you use your parachutes to bail out? Actually, this is 1937. I think this is actually before Temple of Doom. So you can't even fly a plane yet. So yeah, if you decide to bail out, go to page 10. If you decide to disarm the pilot, turn to page 31. I like to think that since Jennifer is saying that she needs to see the happy ending, that my voice and my delivery of these lines has transported all of you to these places. I'm not so sure. Because every once in a while I'm like, what the hell, man? How's he doing that? Why is he doing that? But I'm not going to let it stand when Indiana Jones goes out of character. It is not going to stand with me. I will not allow it to happen. But, yeah, so...
This was made in the 30s?
The story... Don't you remember?
No, I'm saying the book. Like when it was... Because the cover looks like Harrison Ford.
The story is in the 30s.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't hear this conversation. He's asking me if this book was made in the 30s or not. No.
I didn't know when they...
Not really. No, the story takes place in August 1937. It started off the coast of Greece. He's drunk on virtual reality. Anyway, all right, we got 2 for bailing out. I mean, I guess they could always pull the raft like the Temple of Doom action, which I guess was proven wouldn't work. I like to think that it would. Somebody or something did that in that raft and landed and lived. I don't know. It may have been like a... If anyone would have ever wanted to make a mannequin of Kate Capshaw screaming into the snow, I don't know. Exactly why Steven Spielberg would want to marry Kate Capshaw after she screamed for an entire movie and was a complete pain in the ass. The worst... I don't know. I'm really fond of Temple of Doom. Somehow, my dad let us watch Temple of Doom when we were really young, and I was saying Cosm Boss Shakti Day to everybody and trying to take their hearts out. It was probably way too early. That may explain my, not necessarily love of gore, but I definitely like me some gore in movies. But yeah, if we decide to bail out, turn to page 10. If we decide to disarm the pilot, turn to page 31. Okay, let me see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 jumps. Oh, all right. Yeah, Mel. All right. Loving it. Loving it. Still out. Yeah, you need to get with Missy and Richard and have them put their 2 cents in, because otherwise, I guess we're jumping in the majority rule. If we decide to bail out, we're turning to page 10. And if we decide to disarm the pilot, we're turning to page 31. So far, Jump is winning out. So, Mel, get a hold of your pals and see what they can do about this. Hum num. Oh, boy. I always thought it was Shiva. S-H-I-V-A. But I think that's kind of... I think it's kind of confusing, because the image of Shiva that they were talking about, that it seemed a little bit rough. It seemed a little bit horrendous. Like I said, I love me some Kate Capshaw, but I would have been with Indian Short Round on that one. Constant noise. She would have been so much better if she would have kind of like taken her... In fact, it was insulting. She was insulting to women the way she was acting. She could have totally gone crazy on those guys. I mean, she was a dancer. She could have kicked the shit out of them. All right. But still not quite enough. Where are all my peoples? You got a point there. Although Richard was really chiming in for a second there. So I guess you know what? It's starting to make sense now. Sometimes I end up talking to people and they start falling asleep as I'm talking to them, and they say, "Oh, well, your voice is so relaxing," and I'm like, "Yeah." Anyway, I think we're still on jumping. Can't take forever. I guess we gotta bail.
Fine, disarm.
Huh?
Somebody said, fine, disarm.
Oh, wait, what? Who?
I think you're way behind. I think that thing's a little bit. It has to go through like 2 things.
Well, okay, do the math for me real quick, if you can.
Still jump.
Is it still jumping? Okay, we're jumping. Put the... Yeah, too late. Jumping. Page 10. Oh, okay. Book cam. We're flying out into the wild blue yonder. What are you doing, dude?
I was just going up. You went down too far.
Were you picking your nose or what? I can't tell. He's picking a winner. Hiding behind the seat. You quickly strap on your parachutes. Don't forget, Andy whispers to you, as soon as we get to the door, jump. Then count to 10 and pull your ripcord. But the pilot has seen what you're up to. He begins to fire again. See? He begins to fire again through the partition. He's really trying to kill you! Okay. Indy unbelts the pack of the seat and holds it up as the two of you run towards the door. Bullets rip into the upholstery. Word sure got around fast, says Indy, pulling open the door. I wonder how many people will try to stop us from getting the eye. Now jump. As you plummet down in free fall, you can see the blue Aegean Sea far below and the west coast of Crete. Oh boy. I hope we're going to Crete. Everybody knows what's in Crete, right? Anyone? You know what's in Crete, don't you? Man, I hope we go there. On the count of 10, you pull your cord. Nothing happens. You're still falling. Your parachute has failed. Oh, man. You close your eyes and you wait for the end. Turn to page 13. Suddenly, a strong arm grabs you in midair. Indy waited just long enough to reach you before pulling his cord. There's a rough lurch as the chute opens. You open your eyes. With a gentle swinging motion, both of you float down towards the sandy beach and land with a splash in the surf. Thanks. That was close, you say, standing in the waves. Yeah, too close, says Indy, taking off his harness. It's a good thing my chute worked. You follow Indy up the beach. There should be a fishing village nearby. You've got to tell the police about that murderous pilot. Indy, look, you shout. Coming right for you is an angry band of Cretan locals on horseback. I didn't see a no trespassing sign, says Indy. But these people pull their knives first and ask questions later. We've got to get out of here. But which way? There are hills at the edge of the beach and they're studded with caves. That's one way. And there's a tiny islet, I don't know how you say that, about 100 yards offshore. That's another way. If you decide to run to the caves, turn to page 5. If you decide to swim to the islet, is it?
An inlet, maybe?
No, it's definitely ISLET.
I can't see it.
Islet, islet, I don't know. Islet, I don't know. Turn to page 22. Damn it, that's gonna bug the shit out of me now. On to Google. What a wimp. I should always carry a dictionary at all times.
Carry that one.
Cal, carry that gigantic leather one. That would be awesome. Maybe I should like come up with some kind of like leather harness and just strap it to my back at all times.
Just rip it out.
That would be great. And no one would ever look at me funny. They would totally be okay with it. Knowing me even for a couple of years, they would know for a fact that it was totally normal for me. I know it. Sorry. Islet. Thanks, Alina. Yeah, I mean, it's just... What is that icon? I can't even make... Is it someone screaming?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted to see if they popped up.
Caves. Run to the caves. Got one for run to the caves. Let's see. Page 5 and page 22. This one has been really great so far. I'm really digging it a whole lot. I mean, it doesn't hurt that it's Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, they have other Find the Fate. In fact, I think that they might have like a G.I. Joe one too, which would be a lot of fun as well. Except I think that you have to make your own G.I. Joe up for that one. I did when I was a kid.
Did you really?
Yes, yes. His name was Tightrope. He was an ex-circus acrobat who would become an assassin or
You
something.
don't have still have do you?
Say what?
You don't still have them?
No, I don't have all those stats. When it's an icon, not yeah. See, that's so much better. When it's an islet, that's so much better than that stinking. I'll never forgive. No, okay, I won't have to forgive Indy. This is just a Richard Wank. And the guy who wrote his name is Richard Wank. So Dick Wank. if that tells you anything about the level of this guy. But so far, in his defense, it's been a whole lot of fun. And there's been a lot of peril. I've been... okay, crap. 22. Wow. So there's a lot of islets here. 1, 2, 3. 3 for islets, 1 for caves.
I want the caves.
Okay, 3 for islets, 2 for caves.
Anybody else?
Anybody out there?
You think Nazis are going to be in Japan too?
It wouldn't have to. You could be dealing with the red. I mean, are they? No, they're not communists yet. But there's Hirohito. They're all hooked up with the Axis. Okay, so now of course it's tied. 3-3. Who's breaking the tie? We got all the. Okay, Paul's in the mix. Cool. Islet 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, it's actually 4 for islets. If I'm looking at that right. Oh, what? Come on. Is Mary third? Okay, she did too. What are you saying?
Caves.
You're saying caves? So that puts us over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So, okay, we're going for caves. Caves is 5, so stop it. Stop the voting. We're not running into this damn problem again. Oh, wait. I better not put on my my King Kerblack-a-Moist voice.
King Kerblack-a-Moist.
You know, I asked James to draw King Kerblack-a-Moist, and he totally refused, dude.
Why?
Because I myself, personally, I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool for those guys, too, but pointless discussions, James Grant, Big Curly, like one of the greatest pencil artists I've ever seen in my life, he just got his Cintiq up and running, so he'll have some digital stuff, too, but I wanted him to do a poster of all of the characters and places in Planet H and get it made up and put up in the Nut House so they would have it, because there's so much cool stuff in Planet H, and he just totally refused to draw King Kerblack-a-Moist. I'm like, what are you talking about, man? That's like totally up his alley. He's all about tits and tentacles. He's all about it. Okay, so what was I saying? Where am I going? Going to the caves?
Yeah.
All right, page 5. I get off in these tangents. The horses can't follow you up the rocky hillside. You and Indy duck into the first cave you come to. Hey, ships that pass in the night. If they dismount and follow us, says Indy, we're goners. Hurry! You run deeper and deeper into the dark cave. The light grows dim. You run past a tunnel forking off to the left. That's what gets for forking off. Pretty soon, the cave narrows and the walls close in on you. We can't keep going this way, you say. There's no room and almost no air. It's not easy on the eyesight either, says Indy, squinting. Well, what do we do? What do we do? Go back? Question mark. He asks a child. Maybe this cave opens out up ahead, you say uncertainly. We could keep going and see, but there's a tunnel back there. It might lead to the other side of the island. If you think it's safer to go back, turn to page... Oh, thank you, Paul. Thank you. If you think it's safer to go back, turn to page 110. If you decide to continue, turn to page 45. So, are we going ahead into the tunnel, or are we going back the way we came?
I guess they don't want us to go that way.
This is another one of those damn things where they kind of... I guess it's one of those weird wishy-washy Dungeon Master things where they're kind of like, yeah, you could go in the left door, and you'll go around in the desert for a second, and then there's another door, and then you go through that door, and you end up at the first door that you went to anyway. So, if you think it's safer to go back, turn to page 110. If you decide to continue on through this tunnel where you're losing air and losing light, and the kid is whining like a puppy with a hurt knee, then, are you a slave to this kid? You have been all around the world. You have had your nuts threatened to be cut off by the Sultan of Madagascar. And you're going to ask this kid what to do when you're in a tunnel on Crete. But then again, like I was saying before, you know what's in Crete. I know what's in Crete. I hope we get there. I really do, because, I mean, we've already seen the kind of... Well, yeah, we definitely see the future. So there's definitely magic that's happening, at least in one arena of this thing. Okay, so we got 3 for continue. All right. Rock on. 4 for continue. Okay. I don't know if Jennifer's still on. But, yeah. Rock on. Yeah, so far, whose face is that? Is that Roman's?
Just a random face.
Oh. He would kill me. It looks like Roman to me. Wow. Is that, all right. So, yeah. What do you say, Mary? Are you saying continue to? All right. So, we're going ahead. Page 45. Will this be our doom? Ooh, mama. Yes. Awesome illustration. Book cam. This is the kind of stuff.
I'm doing all over the place.
Yeah,
There you go. Oh.
and people wonder why I'm like talking all over the place. Yeah, this is exactly what I would expect from an Indiana Jones anything, is this, except of course for the much maligned by me and practically the entire globe, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. It should be erased from memory and forgotten by time. It should totally be erased. I totally recommend looking around for. There is an animator who did a Indiana Jones animated. I don't know if you call it a pilot, but it's kind of like it's almost like a pilot for an Indiana Jones animated series, and it lasts maybe 2 minutes, something like that. But it's the best Indiana Jones movie that we've had in a decade. So check that out. See if you can't find it. I can't remember if he was working for Disney at the time. But definitely check it out. Is IDEON? Is that like is that some kind of like acronym I'm unaware of on the interwebs?
I don't know.
It's like the cave where Zeus was born.
Oh, she's okay. Awesome. Or you mean what I'm talking about? Crete? You mean?
Yeah, that's on Crete.
Well, I'm talking about something else.
Well, that was earlier, so I saw the picture and.
Oh, but you're talking about this might be the how do you say that? Ideon? Ideon? Yeah. So, rock on. Okay. Man, I'm getting too excited about this. You keep going through the narrow cave, and after a few minutes, the passage widens. It looks brighter up ahead. Slow down, whispers Indy. I hear voices. Now you hear them too. As you get closer, it sounds like hundreds of people singing or chanting. Hora, 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 stinkla. That's all I can think of. I mean, you know what I'm talking, right, Template? Yeah. That's no language I ever heard of, says Indy. Whoa, that's saying a lot. Inching slowly around a bend in the cave wall. Before you is a great hall filled with strange-looking people. How can there be such a place deep in this cave on modern-day Crete? The walls rise over 100 feet on all sides. Chiseled... Okay, yeah, I guess... Kid, you're stupid. The walls rise over 100 feet on all 4 sides. There are 6 sides, buddy. Chiseled into the... Maybe I'm splitting hairs. This is a children's book, and I don't care. Chiseled into the rock is an enormous sun, shooting its rays in all directions. The chanting people were dressed in long robes. Their faces are very pale. They bow to a great stone altar. High above it, a chink in the rock permits a ray of sunlight to shine down. There is something eerie about their loud, atonal chanting. Sun worshippers. In this day and age, exclaims Indy, I wonder how long they've been down here. Turn to page 20. Oh, man. You are going to get a curved blade in your chest cavity, buddy. The chanting grows louder as the massive robed figures stretch their arms out towards the sunlight. It must be some ancient dialect, shouts Indy above the noise. I can't understand any of the words. It's Greek to me, you shout back jokingly. But you have made a mistake. Just as you shout, the chanting stops. Everyone has heard you. One by one, the pale faces turn to you. A tall man with a beard takes a step forward. He seems to be the chief priest. Batasdaklo, he growls. They all begin to pull out short, razor-sharp knives. Oh! Then they move towards you. This is not a welcoming party, says Indy. If we run for it now, we might stand a chance. Yeah, but if they... By all means, sit around talking about it, you fool. Yeah, but if they catch us, you say, they might cut us to pieces. Maybe we should just stand still and show them we mean no harm. What should you do? Do you decide to run? Turn to page 27. If you decide to stand still, turn to page 92. That's cracking me up. I love it how he makes that stupid joke. Man, that is terrifying to think of this entire room of 100 people that just stop dead and they're chanting, look at you, and this guy says 2 words and they're pulling out knives. No, I'm thinking standing still is not going to help you. Just me, I don't know what I'm talking about. But, I mean... Maybe they'll think we're statues. Maybe they'll think we're not even here. Maybe they think we're holographic, you know. No. They think you're pincushions, and you're going to find out what it feels like to be shish kebabied. You idiot. This kid is... Oh, okay. Man, I should have known. The internet, everybody. Gots to love it. Oh. Then again, you know what it might be? Maybe he wants to see this kid die. Run, obviously. That's my girl. She's like, hell with this. Actually, Indiana Jones would look around, and the kid would already be gone, because she would be like, no, nope. Afraid not. The sun worshippers. Although, it is kind of strange to me that sun worshippers would be so violent. I'm not sure.
They've been in like, hermits, though, haven't they? They've been stuck down there.
Well, you think, actually, did it say anything about females down there? A bunch of Bale dudes dancing a hora? Sounds like they stumbled upon a barn. Hey, it's possible. Totally possible. Except their dreidels have razors on them. So, run, you idiots.
4 for run and 1 for...
Run, you fool. Yeah, this is unanimous here.
All right, the votes are in.
We're definitely running. Well, I mean, if I may, I honestly think another solution would have been Indy throwing that dumb kid at the people and running himself. Using him as a human shield. Because that was stupid. Suddenly point up to the chink in the roof. Am I forward or to the side? Where the sunlight streams in and yell, look out! As the evil-looking man, or as the evil-looking sun worshippers turn sharply around to see where you're pointing out. So they fell for the lookout thing. Jesus. Look out! And he points. And they'd be like, you dead. That's our head start. Let's move. The 2 of you take off as fast as you can back down the cave tunnel. Behind you, shouting in anger, the robed figures begin the chase. In here, says Indy. He's ducked into a shallow passageway just in time. The ghostly people, their knives flashing, run past in the dark. Soon they disappear down the tunnel. I hear water running, you say, puzzled. That's me pissing my pants, says Indy. No. It's coming from over there, says Indy, crossing the cave. There you find 2 small tunnels, one sloping up, the other down. I wonder if there's a choice coming. Maybe. There must be an underground river or spring down this tunnel, you say. But the one is slanting up, says Indy. Might come out on top of the island, we could get away. The waterway could lead to the harbor. It's a tough decision. But you hear the sun worshippers coming back. You have to decide now. If you choose the up tunnel, turn to page 55. If you choose the down tunnel, turn to page 12. Dun dun dum. Are we stupid or are we stupid? I think we're stupid. Why is Indy bringing you? Us. Why is Indy bringing us? Do you remember? Does anyone remember? I don't remember why Indy's bringing us.
I don't either.
I mean, there wasn't. I mean, if all of us would have been on the boat and then it exploded and then everyone died, but we were the 2 survivors, it would make sense. Yeah, all it says is that the father stays behind and you can go along. Stupid.
That's crazy does for me. Like as soon as I hit send, it goes quick, but Facebook takes forever for it to go up.
Facebook has flaws. Who'd have thunk it? Maybe we should all give it up. What do you think? We'll write letters to each other. We can have chess games across the earth and just send people letters for our moves. I miss those days. My God, do I miss that. It's amazing how, in this little interim, I will complain about the terrors of technology and how it's spread us all further apart, even though we're closer together than we've ever been in time. No, I won't. But I will bitch about the fact that when my phone was on the fritz, as soon as I got over the initial terror of like the first, I don't know, 36 hours, there was this lull and this calm and this peace in my life that you forget about when you're constantly accessible all day, every day. When you have that kind of like ripped away, something starts flooding back to you. You start wanting to like have your feet touch the earth and, you know, look up at trees and watch as they wave. And well, that little sayonara is totally good night, honey. Don't die. I wish I had a t-shirt, or maybe that should be on my gravestone. I don't know. I can see it now. She'll be standing doing my eulogy and she'll go, I remember that night totally vividly. He was going totally stupid over this kid's book about Indiana Jones. And I had to go to sleep because I had to get up and work. So did he, you know. But I decided to tell him, good night, honey. Don't die. I didn't really think about it then, but it was kind of ominous. Maybe I should have come up with something a little bit. You're hunting an icon. It won't be on the surface. Ooh, burn cream. That's a point. You're hunting an icon. If I may, I think we're hunting a hidden icon. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Wherever we go.
It's going to be wherever. We'll get there eventually.
It's in a fake Bible last time.
It was in a fake Bible. It was in... man, I'm starting to feel guilty about Costas now.
Yeah, you
I guess I was getting that guy a bad rap. Really.
Although we didn't stay on the boat, did we?
No, we didn't stay on the boat. Maybe he would try to knife us if we had stayed. Okay, so up tunnel, up tunnel, up tunnel. Down. Sounds like up. So, 55. We're going to 55. Fucking with, I can't take a joke. Soon. My forward to the side. I was like, soon. I was like, wait. Soon. The passage becomes so steep that you can barely turn off all my... Oh, well, yeah, but yeah, I can turn... Okay. Yeah, I can turn off all my notifications, but I'll seek them out. You know, it'll happen. Soon. The passage becomes so steep that you can barely pull yourself up it. It has become so narrow and airless that you can't breathe. Then there's no more air. You feel your body going limp. Indy, you barely manage to whisper, I don't think I'm gonna make it. You're screwed and you're dead weight. You can hear Indy's voice. It sounds very faint and far away. He sounds worried about you. Maybe that wasn't what he said. I couldn't make it out. I'm delirious. He sounds worried about you, but you don't care anymore. You're losing consciousness. Somewhere far away, Indiana Jones is shaking you, but you can't feel it. As everything fades to a dark, silent blur, you close your eyes and give up. Turn to page 6.
We thought he died. Everyone's like, damn it.
Okay. Book camp. You know what we should have done? Missed opportunity. We should have had the Indiana Jones music playing in the background when we did this.
I thought that when you did that, when he swung down, I was like, that'd be awesome. Dun, dun.
I thought you had that on like a soundboard. Couldn't you have gotten that going? Aren't you my tech guy? There's no doubt about it. Andrew Moore is the hardest working guy in Magic Scroll Network, and he gets the least amount of respect. I think I respect it more than most, and I still whipped the shit out of it. But hey, good stuff. Suddenly, you can breathe again. There's a bright light. You're walking with Indy in a... What? Die, kid! Oh, damn, Jennifer. Wait a second. How can you... Okay, suddenly you can breathe again. There's a bright light. You're walking with Indy in a wide level cavern. So, somehow you went from delirious, then you fall out of consciousness, and then you wake up and you're walking? Is that how this works? You're walking with Indy in a wide level cavern. The light comes from a torch held by a hunched old peasant woman who walks ahead of you. For just waking up and looking at a person one time from behind, you're going to make this kind of distinction, you little prick? She could be carrying a pack under the robe, number one. She's been weathered by working and, you know, maybe she's had a hard life living like in a subterranean cavern. It doesn't mean she's old. And, just because, I mean, maybe she's a monastic. Maybe she's wearing this stuff because it doesn't mean she's a damn peasant. Why don't you shut your face? I'm sure somebody's going to mistake you for a scientist, and they're freaking wrong, you idiot. Wow, dude. I am getting saucy. It is 10:59. I'm, like, getting bent out of shape here. All right. For some reason, you don't question the strange turn of events. Try to hold out a little longer, says Indy's echoing voice. She seems to know the way out. The toothless old... Damn! The toothless old woman guides you into a spectacular chamber. The walls are made of silver and gold. Silver and gold. Silver and gold. They are studded with thousands of oval-shaped enamel tiles. Each tile is painted to look like a human eye. You feel like you're being stared at from all over. How's it feel to be a woman, buddy? You feeling it for the first time in your life, huh? Well, welcome to the jungle. What is happening to me? Black velvet drapes are suspended from the ceiling. Resting against one wall are two oblong marble cases. I hate to say it, says Indy, but those things look like coffins. Without warning, the old hag begins to wail and keen in a high-pitched voice. Then she breaks off in choking sobs. You and Indy look at each other in alarm. What's wrong with her? Turn to page 66. Getting a bad feeling about this. Indy puts his arm... Oh, that's more like... Oh, shit. Indy... Maybe not. That might not be more like it. Indy puts his arm around her. Good thinking, Alina. You got to point this shit out here. What's the matter, Grandma? He asks. Don't you know the way out? She breaks away furiously, hobbling over to stand between two coffins. She points into them, the tears streaming down her face. Suddenly, there's a loud whoomp. Behind you, a gigantic stone door has rolled shut. Wah, wah. Deus Air Machina. I'm loving this. This night is awesome. This might be the best one yet. Behind you, a gigantic stone door has rolled shut, sealing off the room. You're trapped. I have a terrible feeling, says Indy. You walk slowly across the room and peer down into the marble coffins. Inside each one is the corpse of an old woman. They look just like your weeping old guide. It's them, you say half to yourself. It's the three fates. Without answering, Indy takes the torch and waves it back and forth in front of the woman's eyes. She sees nothing. You're right. She's crying for her dead sisters. She stops crying. Then you hear a low voice. Welcome to the vault of the immortals, it says. Turn to page 32. Ooh, the vault of the immortals. I guess that means that you can't die in there, right?
Well, maybe only one.
Oh! Book cam. She's got teeth.
She's missing one.
I guess it would be toothless. She's just missing one. I mean, what would a dentist down in the catacombs even... I mean, he's got a whiskey and, like, a hammer. That's all you got.
Looks like she has the eye, too.
Don't give it away. At that moment, the coffins crumble into dust before your eyes. The old hag takes something out of her pocket. It is the Eye of the Fates. The light in the room grows dim. Is the torch going out? Deus Ex, or Air Machina. You look at Indy. He still holds the brightly burning torch, but you can barely see him. There's only one answer. You're going blind. The whispering voice continues. Welcome, welcome. The old woman hands the eye to Indy. To your horror, he changes into an ugly old woman, and then everything goes dark. Oh! You realize this terrible secret. Indy no. He thinks that you and Indiana Jones have become these old women. Turn to page 14. I think it's some kind of glamour. I think that he was with the... Wait. Turn to page 14. You slowly open your eyes. You can see! You're lying in a hospital bed. Standing next to you is your father, and across the room is Indiana Jones. Glad to see you come around, kid, Indy says. We were worried. You were in a coma, your father explains. You passed out from lack of oxygen in the caves, and you've been hallucinating the whole time. You've gone crazy. Your mental illness will keep you locked behind bars for the next little portion of your life.
You're making this up.
Jones brought you to the hospital here in Athens. You've been here for 4 days. And guess what? While you were... Oh! Ain't that about a bitch? And guess what? While you were dreaming away, Indiana Jones flew to Japan alone. He found the Eye of the Fates, a magnificent jewel, the find of the century, and guess what you were doing? You were sleeping in a coma. You missed the whole thing. When's your next adventure, you ask Indy? I still got 2 weeks left before my summer vacation. The end.
Is that really what it's...
That's really the
I
end.
thought you were making that up.
No. So, damn. Oh, man. Personally, I would like to keep going for like the rest of the night. There's all kinds of stuff that we haven't gotten to yet. Maybe we'll revisit this at another time. I've got a couple books that are like that. If anybody was around for the Hamlet retelling and the... Did I have the Romeo... I can't remember if I had the Romeo and Juliet or not. But there was this this modern... The Hamlet one?
No, the Romeo and Juliet.
Because in the Hamlet... Oh, yeah, so you remember that one, too. Because we ended up... It was like a terrorist attack and all. It was awesome. I misplaced that book in my apartment somewhere, so I have to refine that. And we may have to revisit some of these and see if we can remember them. Because as Jennifer is totally aware, it is difficult to find Choose Your Own Adventure books of any kind for cheap money. They are really expensive, and sometimes they're...
The good ones are. I think you can buy Scene of the Crime for like $1.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think... I can't remember where I got Scene of the Crime from. I think I got it from a thrift store or something. But the last time I was in the bookshelf on North Walnut Street, and I'm just plugging the hell out of it. It's a good place. It's actually, if in my opinion, I think it's one of the best kept secrets in Batesville, because when you're driving down, if you don't have your eyes peeled, you will totally miss that place. But yeah, definitely look up the bookshelf and visit that place. When you walk inside, it's almost like you're opening up. I mean, I wouldn't know from personal experience, but from what I've heard of the Doctor Who, like, police box, it's kind of like that. You open the door and it's just massive amounts of books, and they keep them at like 7 feet. So I think they have to use ladders in there, but it's great. Totally check out the bookshelf. But last time I was there, I ended up raiding their entire stash of this type of stuff. And I put up a lot of them as kind of like the secondary choices of what I figured everybody would go for. So we might have to start whittling into those pretty soon until I find a new stash of them. But what I might do is next time around, I'll go for the... I know that somebody was looking for... It was like the Dragon Sword of what have you. It was actually an R.L. Stine one. Before...
TJ says he has one.
What's that? TJ said... What's that now?
Goosebumps.
Well, yeah, I mean, no, but what I'm saying is it wasn't a Goosebumps Choose Your Own Adventure. It was just... if they'd have known about Seeing the Crime, but I mean, if they would have known about Seeing the Crime, they might have. But if I may, I was under the impression that was one of your picks on that last one, Miss Perez. I think that you definitely had your name down for Seeing the Crime on that one. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but I think that culpability has to be passed around on this one. I can't take full blame. But yeah, Jennifer's got a good idea. If anyone wants to put in money to take the entire indie series off of eBay, I think it was going for like $500. Which, yeah, it takes a lot for me to reconcile paying that much for that kind of stuff. Although, I have to say, so far, this one at least was great. And actually, I kind of put a word out there to Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall. I think they're still together. About the producing of the next Indiana Jones movie. I think they could do a lot worse than to kind of mine some of the novels that came out in the, I think it was the early 90s. They had some great ones, great ones, and I think that they were trying to maybe step back a bit and try to give Indy a little bit more run for his money when it came to the female protagonists and side characters that were involved, so they weren't just kind of like brainless mauls that he ran around with and stuff like that. I guess they kind of did. I guess when it comes down to it, Kate Capshaw was kind of like, she was number 3 in that department, because the one in Last Crusade, she ended up being like a full-blown Nazi, and kind of, she was a strategist and stuff. Oh my god, spoiler alert, anyone's never seen Last Crusade. If you haven't, shame on you, I don't care. Yeah, it's been a few decades, but and also Ravenwood, why can't I remember her first name? The one that he was with in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Marion Ravenwood. I would actually love to see a little bit of the story of how Indy was hooked up with her professor father and how they had the falling out over him. I think that would have been pretty cool. But anyway, that is tonight, I think. A lot of people have to go and do their separate things, but I was hoping that we would get to go into the labyrinth of the Minotaur for this. I'm not saying that it's out of the picture. I don't look at these before I go through them with all you guys. But that would be really cool if you ended up in the maze of the Minotaur. And I think there were 3 presented. I don't know. I can't remember. You're probably looking back, you're probably looking back in the history and you have that in front of your face. I don't remember. I thought I had 3 there for the scene of the crime one. I think there was a scuba diving one, the scene of the crime one, and a 3rd one. That's the way I remember it.
Was it the alien one? No, we did that one.
No, we did the... I can't remember now. I'll have to look back and make sure. But anyway, this has been Diabolical Index, non-entry episode number 7 for this Memorial Day. Hopefully you thought about what you were supposed to think about today and didn't take it for granted. So hopefully I will see you next Monday around 9 o'clock. Hopefully a little bit closer than that. I don't know when we'll be doing it from Paradox City. Hopefully sooner rather than later. But otherwise we'll be at the Nut House like we have for a little while. And it will be the... I believe it'll be the 7th... Or it'll be the 8th, right? It'll be the 8th entry, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Because I think last week was the 7th normal index entry. So everybody have a great night. It's been a total blast running around with Dr. Henry Jones Jr. and all of you. There have been a lot of people jumping in tonight. I hope that everyone keeps it up. I'll try to come up with the books for next week. And you have a good night. And as always, keep it squirrely.
squirrel was
Right.
magic.